Most people train one or two body parts at a time, but Navy SEALs have a very different approach. If you want to be strong and muscular with your whole body, the best thing you can do is full body workouts.
Do 3 full body workouts, and there's a few different reasons why this is superior.
So why specifically full body workouts, and does it really make sense for you? Before we get to the Navy SEAL full body workout, let's compare it. In fact, in 2021, researchers in Brazil put this to the test. 67 untrained men were split into 2 groups. One group followed a split routine, training each muscle group twice a week. The other did full body workouts 4 times a week. The total volume was the same though. Both groups trained for 8 weeks, matching total volume between them. But the result had no real difference. Both groups gained similar strength in the bench press and squat and similar muscle thickness in the arms and quads. So in short, both ended up with pretty much the same strength gains and muscle growth. So you might be asking, well then, what's the difference? This is where I think full body workouts start to make a lot more sense. They're simply more efficient because you can train every major muscle at least a little every time you work out. Even with a lower training frequency, you can still make steady progress as long as you recover properly and actually push your sets. And to be honest, they're also much more flexible. If you occasionally have to skip or move a workout, it's not the end of the world. For example, if you miss 1 of 3 workouts in a week, you've still trained all the major muscle groups to some degree. I mean, that's pretty useful if life doesn't always follow your perfect Monday to Sunday workout schedule. And for strength development, there's another advantage. You can practice big lifts like the bench press and squat more often throughout the week instead of waiting an entire week to do them again, which also aligns with the GTG method I explained in my book. However, this doesn't mean the results of that 2021 study aren't useful. They simply show that when the total amount of work is matched, both methods can build pretty much the same amount of muscle and strength. But look, strength isn't just about how much you can lift in one exercise. You also want to be strong, athletic, and capable across your whole body. And that's where full body training has a pretty big advantage. Now you can probably see why Navy SEALs prefer full body workouts. Because look at the difference. However, here's a bonus that makes the argument even more interesting. There's another study that compared a full body routine with a split body routine for fat loss in experienced lifters. And this time, full body training came out ahead. The full body group lost significantly more total body fat, including fat around the arms, legs, and hip and thigh areas. There was also a trend toward greater abdominal fat loss. And here's what's even more convincing. The full body group consistently reported less muscle soreness, with lower body soreness being up to 7.5 times lower. So they weren't just less sore, they may have also been more active outside the gym, and apart from this, it's also important to understand why this kind of training could be so useful in everyday life, especially as you get older. So why are full body workouts much more efficient than normal training splits? Because when you do full body exercises that use several muscles at once, you're training your body to move like how you actually use it outside the gym. For example, carrying groceries, climbing stairs, you name it, or even picking up something heavy off the floor. We've all seen these strong construction workers, right? This is a good example for this. Because of their job, they train their whole body as a unit, so every little muscle gets stronger every single time. Now here's something you probably don't know. Your muscles are actually made up of 2 main types of fibers. One is built more for endurance, for going longer. The other is built more for short bursts of power. And when you train your whole body regularly, instead of destroying one body part once a week, you're working both types of fibers throughout the week. You're not just absolutely murdering one muscle group in a single joint-crushing session. Imagine it like your phone battery. If you keep putting all the load on it at once, eventually it's going to start struggling. Full body training spreads the work out instead of beating up the same body part every time. Basically, your muscles want some variety too. They're not that different from you switching shows instead of watching the same episode for the 10th time. And here's what this means for you. Less stress on any single point, more steady progress, and less chance of one body part getting completely hammered in a single workout. And that becomes even more important as you get older. But this does not mean you should train every single muscle randomly in one workout. No. I studied the Navy SEALs approach to working out, so you can start copying it. By the way, this is me from the future. I forgot to mention I made a simple printout calendar you can follow along with. My dad wanted it, so it may be helpful for you as well. It's also 100% free. First link in the description. It has 6 exercises, and each one has a job to do if you want the benefits we've talked about. The first one is the dive bomber push-up. Stu Smith personally used this exercise to train future Naval Academy candidates. And if you don't know who he is, he graduated from the U.S. Naval Academy, became a Navy SEAL, and has written several fitness books. So yeah, he probably knows a thing or two we don't. This movement mainly targets your chest, shoulders, triceps, and lower back. First, get on your hands and feet with your feet about hip width apart and your hands about shoulder width apart. Now push your hips up high so your body forms an upside down V, kind of like a downward dog position. Then lower your chest in a smooth, swooping motion, bringing it close to the floor near your hands. Keep moving forward and up, arching your back until your chest is lifted, your arms are straight, and your hips are low, like an upward dog position. And finally, reverse the same path to return to the starting position. Now the next exercise is dead hang pull-ups. To be honest, this one probably doesn't need much introduction. Almost everyone knows what a pull-up is. But just in case you're new to training, here's the simple version. Start by hanging completely straight with your elbows fully extended. Then pull yourself up until your chin clears the bar and pause for a second. After that, lower yourself all the way back down, nice and controlled. This exercise trains your back, biceps, shoulders, and grip. After that, you'll move to air squats. Commander Mark Devine, the founder of SEALFIT, built his Grinder PT routine around 6 bodyweight exercises, including the air squat. And this one is all about your lower body, hitting your legs, glutes, and hips. Here's how to do it. Stand with your feet about shoulder width apart, toes slightly turned out, and your arms out in front for balance. Then sit your hips back down like you're sitting into a chair, keeping your chest up and your weight through your heels. Keep lowering until your hip crease drops just below your knees. Then drive back up through your heels until you're standing tall, squeezing your glutes at the top. After this, we have flutter kicks. This one comes straight from the official Navy SEAL training channel run by the Naval Special Warfare Center itself. Start by lying flat on your back with your hands tucked under your glutes for lower back support and your head and shoulders slightly off the ground. Both legs straight and raised together. Then, raise one leg while lowering the other until it's about 6 inches off the ground. Don't let either foot touch down. Keep your pelvis neutral and your lower back pressed into the floor throughout. Now just switch legs in a steady, controlled scissor motion. This works your core, hip flexors, and quads. Now, the next one holds its own importance. It's the Navy SEAL sit-up. This is another one of the 6 official SEALFIT movements, and it's also a real BUD/S standard. The Navy version uses your arms crossed over your chest rather than laced behind your head like some other branches do. So this one mainly targets your core and hip flexors. Here's how to do it. First, lie on your back with your knees bent, feet flat and anchored, either with a partner holding them or hooked under a bar. Then cross your arms over your chest, with each hand on the opposite shoulder. Now curl your torso up, bringing your elbows toward your knees. At the top, your shoulder blades should be completely off the ground, with your elbows touching or getting close to touching your knees. Then lower yourself back down under control until your shoulder blades touch the ground, and go straight into the next rep. And with that, we're down to the final exercise of this workout, the 8-count bodybuilder push-up. This one was also developed by former SEAL Stu Smith while working with the Naval Academy's Special Ops team, basically to recreate the feeling of running through an obstacle course. And at BUD/S, some students do 100 of these as part of a normal warm-up. Here's how it works. Start standing straight with your arms at your sides and your feet about shoulder width apart. Now on the count 1, drop into a deep squat, hands planted on the ground, shoulder width apart in front of your feet. After that, on count 2, kick both feet straight back into a high plank or front-leaning rest position. Then, on counts 3 and 4, perform one full push-up and lower your chest to the floor, then press back up. Next, on counts 5 and 6, plank jack. Hop your feet apart and then hop them back together, keeping the plank line straight. Now on count 7, hop your feet forward, landing back in the low squat from count 1. Finally, on count 8, stand back up to the starting position. And that's 1 rep. This one actually works your upper and lower body together, hitting your chest, shoulders, legs, and core. Now, when it comes to frequency, you don't really need to compete with Navy SEALs unless you're planning on going on SEAL missions, in which case we probably need to have a different conversation. For most people, I'd recommend doing this workout 2 to 3 times a week with 2 to 3 sets of each exercise. But aim for around as many reps as you can afford, because this is what Navy SEALs like David Goggins recommend.
Stay hard!
They say do 100 reps, but obviously we can't do it like them. What we can do is go toward our max. This, in my opinion, is more ideal. But if you want to learn more about Navy SEALs and their exercises, maybe this video can teach you further. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.